We are going to make the ear now for the tiger. Please like and subscribe right now before you forget, please. I need some people. Okay, so the suggestion is that you make 2. It literally says that on the instructions. Now, I'm going to go over the whole thing though, because this here is pretty much how you make every single plushie ear. So we have a hyperactive kitty today, so she might make her presence very known. So round 1, we're going to do 6 stitches in a magic ring. So you're going to get to see that all over again, but practice makes perfect. Round 2, we're going to do an increase in each stitch for a total of 12 stitches. Round 3, this means single crochet in each stitch. So again, that would be a total of 12 stitches. We're just doing 1 in each from here, and then we're going to fasten off and leave a long tail. All right, and I have gone ahead and made my first one. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and make the second one as suggested. Now starting off with the magic ring, my left-handers, the yarn is to your right. Of course, it's the second time I'm doing this video, so that's why this yarn kind of looks like this. My husband interrupted me to let me know he was going to AutoZone, so that was sweet. So you make a D, flip it over, like the page of a book, and you're going to grab both of these here. Now I leave a longer tail than normal, as you would know if you've watched other videos, and I do it for a reason, which you would see later on why. It's mostly to keep the piece contained after it's made, and to keep it from unraveling if it's going to a little one. Now, if you were able to pull this and it shrunk, that's the right way. If you pulled this and it shrunk, that means you did backwards. All right, so zoom in here. All right, so the first thing we do is called a slip stitch. So you're going to take the yarn from the back to the front and pull it through the loop, and this here is where you're going to put the first stitch marker just through a single piece of yarn. That's going to mark the magic circle where we're going to insert the next 6 stitches. So the first stitch is different from the rest of the 5 because you're going to do a slip first, and then you're going to go through the green stitch marker. All right, now this is the first stitch, which they always look like little V's. In velvet yarn, it's kind of harder to tell. But so you want to put your stitch marker and make sure you go underneath both sides of the V. And I like to use warm colors because sometimes throughout other rounds I will use a secondary stitch marker, and to keep me from forgetting, the warm colors kind of remind me like of a stop sign, like stop, before you go on to your next row. Because you know I'm super forgetful because we're left-handers, right? All right, so that was first stitch. The rest of the 5 are only going to go through this hole with the green stitch marker. So that's 2, 3, and it's always 3 or 4 when this tail gets in the way. So I just pull it through and ignore it. Sometimes I end up accidentally using that string to crochet. Just ignore it. That was 4. 5. 6. Great timing. Green stitch marker because it just came undone. So now we can get rid of you. didn't want to cooperate anyways. So now we have our 6 stitches. So starting off with the magic ring, it's a little harder to see. With velvet yarn, the tinier the pieces. Once it starts getting larger, you can see them pretty well. So that's the first stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the last is this, 6. Now, one of the reasons why I like to do what I just now did, I actually do it without videos as well, is because the second round, whenever you're doing increased stitches, you need to be able to like visibly tell or know exactly where it is you're gonna put the next stitch, or where you're gonna insert the next hole for the hook. So starting off with the first one here, we're going to stop and we're going to mark this stitch. Remember, there's 6 increased stitches, which is a total of 12 stitches. So we're going to mark that first stitch that we just made. And to do an increase, we have the leggies here. You're going to insert your hook at the bottom of that second leg and do a regular crochet. Now we're going to go into the second V here. We're going to do a regular and then follow back into the leg to finish your increased stitch. Now, with the velvet yarn, like I said, it's harder to see with the tinier rows. So we only did the first 2, right? So you can count back 1, 2, 3, 4, just to make sure you're not like double crocheting like in this area right here, because that's not where you're supposed to go. So counting backwards sometimes helps here. Now when I insert, you see I just pulled here, I push back to make sure like the diameter is pretty solid throughout the whole thing, uniform, so that it looks, you know, it looks nicer. I try not to make it too tight or too loose. I try to make it about this diameter, like I said. And then when I pull it through, I push back again. I don't tighten here. This yarn can rip, but it could make it too tight to go into the next hole. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're gonna insert here. See, this is what I mean. This is where I pull. And when I come out this way, I straighten the piece. These are just little things I do that I've learned that make the piece look better. We're gonna have squeaky yarn today. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8. And something did not go right there. What did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is our last increase. Okay, now we have our 12 stitches, and now we're just gonna do 1 stitch in each, or single crochet in each stitch is the technical way of saying that. So you're going to go through where the stitch marker is for your first crochet of this round. We're going to be diligent crocheters, yarners, and place this where it goes. It is not fun trying to figure out where the next row starts. It is not fun. So now at this point, you start to notice, you start to notice this here. This isn't where you put the piece. Where this leg goes, that's not where you put the hook. You're gonna put it here, not this one. And it just looks like that because we did increases last round, so not there, but there. You see how it curls in the piece? You want to push it out when it starts to curl in. Oh wow, somebody is target practicing, and that sounded like a shotgun. It's normal out here. Okay, it keeps curling in, but that's fine. All right, so we're gonna count just to make sure we have the correct number of stitches. So we're gonna start with the stitch marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and the last piece, 12. Now we're gonna fasten off, so that's not to say we're gonna invisible. We're going to just fasten off, which means, and they said leave a long tail, right? So I'm just going to go a little bit, I'm gonna go just make a long tail like I always do, super long. I love that about the velvet, you can just yank it. But sometimes it's not the greatest whenever you get frustrated and you're trying to crochet into a hole and you can't fit, and then it breaks. All right, so fasten off just means you're just gonna pull it all the way through and you're done. All right, we are going to make an arm and a leg in the next videos, and that there is your ear.